Hello, it's David R. Becker here with BeckerArt, and today I want to go over a little trick, trick I use for this pads of paper that watercolor paper that many of my students have a problem with taking the paper off the pad. These are great, these pads of paper, for when you're doing plein air or even in my classes. It's great because you don't have to mount it to a board. You can just paint right on the actual pads. Arches makes them, but all the other companies also have a lot of them. And they just have this gum that holds the paper together onto the pad. But when you're done, a lot of times it's a hard time getting this paper off. And I use a couple of these things that I found work really well with this. And one of them is the palette knives. I use this palette knife. It's more for oil painting, but and also for scraping my watercolors. But if you just go in here, you see there's this is the part where there's no gum in there. And so you just push this into the little slot here. I pull it forward a little bit, but don't use a knife that's something sharp because you can cut the paper. But see, if you just go around this, you just kind of pull it around, pull it out, and there you have your paper, all nice and cut off the mat. And so that's one way with this kind of palette knife. Palette knife is you can get at any of your art stores. But then we have these 5 that come in a set, and these all work great too. So especially like this one, it's the same thing as that one, but it's they're all plastic, but it's just great to use. Any one of these is fine because it's not sharp. You know, you have to watch out that it's not sharp and cuts. Like a knife, a regular knife, a lot of times it can cut into the paper, but here again, shove it into that little spot in between each piece of paper, and then just glide it around. Glide it all the way around, and there you go, another one off. Also, I found that if you don't have your set with you or you're out painting plein air, if you have your credit card or debit card or room key, works great too. All you have to do is, again, and actually you can use this for scraping, so these are great for if you don't have that palette knife with you at the moment. So here again, I'll put it in there, put my card in there, and then just run it around the paper. And a lot of times you can just do a section like that and you just rip the rest of it off. So that's just a little trick I use to get the paper off the pads of these watercolor pads. Great pads to use, but again, don't use a knife for going in here with a sharp knife because a lot of times you'll cut the paper underneath or you'll scrape it. So one of these strings, again, a credit card, debit card, or room key, palette knife. This is a metal one, which I find is be fine. And then the plastic ones, you can get these all together as a set for I think like $1. But so there you have it. Take your paper off the pads. Thanks a lot.